One of the most incredible things about having the chance to host this podcast is hearing about people describe their lives as they are now and then go back to the inputs and the happenings that caused them to become that way. Most of us have been in fender benders. Some of our listeners have been in really horrific accidents. For Katy to be in 2 significant injury accidents within the space of just a couple of months, my guess is that she's probably always been kind of a stubborn person, and the first accident didn't get her attention, so that required a second one to absolutely get her attention. But clearly what she chose to take from that was a different way to think, not just about the healing process, but about herself, and figuring out more about who she was in order to actually come to grips with what had happened and get on the path toward proper healing. You can tell she's got deep curiosity, not just the number of books that she reads, but in the quest of trying to get well, she paid attention to what we would call modern medicine, Western healing techniques. Remember, she spent a lot of time in operating rooms and was in the medical field, but also going deeper and beyond that to explore what's available in the East. What are some of the ancient practices that lead to greater happiness and that lead to greater health, which was amazing. So what happened along the way is that she had to change her paradigm from being the kind of person that says, I hit my goals, I'm driven. If I don't hit them, I fail. I don't want to fail. She had to change to a person that could more praise herself for progress instead of being so brutally hard on herself. So it gets me thinking, how many times are we hard on ourselves because we have a vision of perfection? And perfection is never going to happen. But when we miss that vision of perfection, even by a fraction, we say, I have failed. What Katy's really saying here is that that's not what it's about. What it's about is realizing that we are who we are. And if we're making progress, if we're moving forward, if we're focused on serving and making a positive difference in the world, then that's really what it's about. So changing that paradigm to where she started to really love herself, praise herself, is such a really key thing. I was also moved when she spoke about processes of dealing with pressure and dealing with these setbacks. First of all, is to slow down. The notion of elongating the breathing so that it stimulates and triggers all of the parts of our inner body, outer body, and our psychological core to make a difference in dealing with things. And then at the same time, try to avoid terminology such as I am sad or I am happy, instead allowing ourselves to experience sadness, experience happiness, experience disappointment, experience triumph, and realizing that our inner self can transcend and continue moving forward with that. That was a tremendous insight. When we got into talking about goal setting, she's not saying we shouldn't hit our goals. That's not what she's saying. She's saying that if we want to sustainably achieve greater and greater goals, then we have to do it with the right process of manifesting the idea, gathering information, taking the idea and then making it our own. My insight on that is when we think about how many times we are the recipient of a goal, we're given a budget to achieve. We've got something that has to be accomplished, and someone else is giving us the goal. It could be somebody above us in an organization, what we might call a top-down goal. It's quite easy when we're given a top-down goal to say, I don't own this, and resent it. So the challenge that we all have is to first of all ask the question, say, how can I own this goal? How can I make this goal part of me? There's benefits in achieving this goal that will influence me. I think it does 2 things. First, it prevents us from being a victim. Man, they're always giving me these impossible goals. That's victim mentality that doesn't move us forward. And second, it lets us get our whole self wrapped around the goal when we see its relevance to ourselves. In an ideal world, the people giving us goals would always tell us, here's why this is beneficial to you. But in the real world, we need to be the one that does that for ourselves. And that's an insight that came to me directly as a result of the things that Katy was sharing. She talked a lot about small steps, momentum, and how that can be impacted by doing those little things. A 5-minute routine each day to get involved into motion, into hydration, into breathing, to start the day in a really, really good way. And that at the end of the day, everything is our choice. And the more that we can make our choices align with ourselves being sustainable, ourselves being at peace, then the more things we're going to be able to accomplish in the long run. Clearly, Katy's focused on service to others, and that service attitude is tremendously empowering. So she is a real believer in elevating our lives and doing better at what we do, and she practices it by what she does every single day. So I am excited about what she's accomplishing and the impact she's having, and it's had a profound impact on me today as well.